So, here we are. Like again to sketch grumpy chicks today together, the very first one, the warm-up. So I'm looking forward to doing this together with you and double checking if it is really working. And hey Ulla, so obviously it works and we can do this. It sometimes takes a while, yes, but you should see and hear everything. That's wonderful. Hi Ulla, hi Alexandra. I think I need a different pair of glasses so that I can better see your comments, because they are so small and so quick here on my phone. So it's better this way. And Yvonne is here, Alexandra, Marilyn, Loretta. Yes, the third grumpy chick warm-up. It's the third time already. That's wonderful. It's true, before we have sketched an Easter bunny and then it turned into a grumpy chick. And it stays a grumpy chick. Hi Liselotte, hi Pat. So I'm really glad that you are here with me, joining me in this new challenge. Hi Beate, Petra. And I just had to smile because Kerstin was just about to post sketches from the cat drawing class, full of movement, very dynamic cats, so they look really great. But it's kind of, well, a danger for our grumpy kids now. So hi Linda, so wonderful that you're joining as well. And now today it is really time for the warm-up sketch. And maybe you have already printed this sheet out. And this time, because I learned after so many challenges, I learned that we need also space for the warm-up here. So we have not yet had this on this sheet. So this is a different one. I adapted it. And Alexandra, you're looking forward to the challenge? Me too, because it's always fun to, well, talk about grumpiness in the eyes of those cute little chicks. And David, yes, so great that you're live here joining us. Hi Ursula, Margaret. And yes, the grumpy eyes. Margaret, you're absolutely right. That's what we're going to talk about today as well. How to underline the grumpiness and to really focus on it. And Sandy, yes, you've been in Germany. That's wonderful. Great to read that. So maybe we see some urban sketches of Germany soon in our class. I will now turn the camera so that you can see my grumpy chick and that you also can see all I want to share with this challenge. So today is about the challenge, but for sure also about those key issues, the new rules. But you know, I'm not a big fan of rules, so it's not about rules itself. These are guidelines and I'd like to share them with you. So the very first thing is that you can win 2 of my drawing books. They are still in German. They are now in Finland as well, but not yet in English, but only in Finnish and German. So fingers crossed. It's out of my control. It's really the publishing company who works with it. So it's their timetable and how they do this. But I just want to show you that I think it's fine if you win it in German, even if you don't speak German, because it's mostly about drawing. So there are lots of drawing exercises and you can directly sketch in them. So I would not care so much about the language because it's really a minimum here, as you can see. So this is the winners I will draw later after the challenge. And now about the rules, about the guidelines of the challenge. So the very first one here is about, so the Grumpy Chick Challenge. The very first thing is about ink. So we will need ink. And in this case, I'm using usually for the challenges 2 different ones, but as we have only 1 line, so this is the next rule, 1 line, I would test the ink before, so that you really work with only one pen and stick with the pen on the paper. So in this case, this is a very fine one here, and it works wonderfully when you are, for example, so this is the fine tip, when you are using it for several layers. So when we have only one line and we stick with the pen on the paper, it's not really stressful. So, oh, you cannot see it. I should put it over there. Yes. So when you draw with one line, it should stay with the pen on the paper. And this is not stressful because we have all the time we need. So no time limit this time. And you can redraw the lines. And for example, when I'm drawing, let's draw an egg. So when I'm drawing an egg, I can redraw it and redraw it. And for example, when it's dark on this side, I keep drawing so that it really gets dark on this side. And I can use the repetition of the lines really to define different values. So here in this case, a very fine tip is very helpful, because when you redraw and redraw, you need very fine lines to not have a black page afterwards. And a bolder tip, for example, this is a bolder tip here, and when I'm drawing with this bolder tip, I would use different pressure here. So for example, when I'm redrawing the lines, I'm putting the pen a bit to the side so that the lines are not all of the same boldness. So you can really work with pressure here as well. So bold is also nice because you can work a bit more with the pressure. So like you can see it here, it is absolutely possible with a bold pen, depending on the way you hold it. You can really use a varying pressure here and differentiate here the line style as well. So I think both versions are fine. And for the warm-up, you can really test both with 2 sketches, for example, to get into the mood how you want to draw. So I will work with the fine one this time. And yeah, so maybe I will use it for the next sketch, the bolder one. No time limit, and we stick with the pencil on the page, but it should not be stressful. So if you're drawing a few lines and then kind of hurts in the hand because it's all controlled and stiff and really, not relaxed, then you can stop, relax the hand, and then continue drawing, because it's really more the idea. I don't want you to feel under pressure because of it. So it's really more this idea of one continuous flow state of drawing. So the main idea here is this flow state, so that you are really in a continuous movement on the paper. So this is the main idea. And now lots of information here already, but let's do a tiny little fresh up again as well for the chick eyes, so the grumpiness of the eyes. So here the grumpiness, I would say, is shown with different ways. So you can also work with the beak and the shape of the beak, and also the shape of the eyes. So when I'm drawing with one line, the eye, I start directly with a straight line for the eye, for the upper lid of the eye, so that when I keep the pencil or the pen on the paper, I can fill out the eye or the shape of the eye in the next step. So here I'm quite glad that I've used the bolder one, because I've sketched quite a big eye. But you can leave a tiny little part white to show the reflection on the eye, and the rest is really dark. And you see it already starts to be very grumpy, and it's defined also by the beak here, for example, that you get this grumpiness. So this is just a tiny little idea how you can integrate grumpiness, even though the chicks are really gorgeous, they're really cute. So it will be hard work to draw them grumpy. Let's start with the very first one. There is no time constraint, so we do not have an hourglass here because it's really all about this one line. So just double checked if it is working with, yes, with the visibility of the chick so that you can see it. And now let's directly start with the warm-up, and I'm always starting with the eye to make sure that it is really grumpy, because in this case it's not really easy to make it grumpy. So as I've just shown you in the big version here, I'm trying to make the eye or the upper lid quite straight so that we have the grumpiness directly here. And also for the beak, for example, I start directly so that I can instantly work with the grumpiness in its face. And then I continue by varying the pressure on the pencil, but I start with very fine lines to show the fluffiness of its feathers. And it kind of feels really unusual and weird if you cannot move the pencil away from the paper, but you will get used to it, and the more you get used to it, the better it will give you this feeling of flow state of drawing when you stay with the pencil on the paper. So I just draw or keep drawing what I see with the feathers so that we are not only drawing the grumpiness of the eyes but its entire body. And there is no time issue here because I think it's also a really wonderful thing to focus here on the tonal values and on the different proportions here, and we automatically stop after a few minutes because it kind of gets uncomfortable for the hand. So this is our time pressure anyway, that we cannot draw all the time by keeping the pencil on the paper. So that's the main idea. And additionally, it's not perfect this way, so many lines, so it's really looks a bit weird. And this also helps us to get away from this perfect drawing idea, so that we are not drawing the chicks for hours until we have the super perfect chick here. We really want to enjoy the moment and the sketching, and without any hesitation, without any aiming to have the perfect drawing here. So one line really makes it impossible that it's perfect, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So it looks really grumpy here, so I'm satisfied with the sketch. I will stop here. I think it was 2 minutes or so, so it's quite a quick sketch to draw with only one line. And then I put it away because we do not... Oh, maybe you want to continue drawing it, so I keep it here so that you can continue, because I will add now some splashes so that we can also add a bit more watercolor here, a bit more color. I've only 3 colors here, and it's up to you how much you are going to use. I really try to use this reduced palette here, and maybe a bit of color here for the bird directly. So it's a printing paper, it's not a special sketchbook here. So I'm really trying to be very quick here to not destroy the paper. And maybe also a bit of yellow for the beak. And some splashes are great. So the legs a bit darker, and some splashes would be nice. That's why I've prepared the palette here, so that I can directly work with the splashes. I need to pay attention because there's not so much space here, so to not splash over all my little frames. You can draw these frames yourself as well, by the way. You will read it in the description also about the size of it, so that you can draw it quickly yourself too, or keep it in your sketchbook as you want. And a tiny little bit of green. So now it's done, and this is our first warm-up sketch. It's all about the grumpiness, so you can really focus on its grumpiness and be really free to experiment and to, well, test out what you want to do with this challenge. So it's about your very own experiments here. I'm just turning the camera to see what you think about it, and feel free to enjoy this challenge without any result expectations, because one line is about wild sketches and not about perfection. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all your sketches and also your warm-up sketches. So Margaret, guidelines on the color. Oh, that's a good question. So my main idea for the color is that it's wild. So some splashes and all things that are out of control are wonderful. So I would experiment here as well. And that's exactly why I only have chosen 3 colors. So this is not a rule, but I've chosen 3 colors because otherwise it's so much, it's a lot. So when I focus on splashes and loose sketches, it is for me helpful to be very reduced with the color palette, so that I have lots of possibilities to experiment and to be not overwhelmed by the choice of colors. David, good start. Yes, that's wonderful. I love to read that, and I'm looking forward to seeing your grumpy chick here. And Alexandra, you like the idea with one line? It's one of my favorites. A one-liner is something that is really, really awesome in any occasion. Even when you're sitting in a train, a one-liner is always perfect. And Ulla, I'm happy that you're looking forward to it and that you enjoy this idea. Sandy, love the one line and limited palette. Yes, palette. Yes, yes, yes. Me too. I really like to have some clear ways or art supplies, so that I can experiment more with the expression and less with the supplies. But it's really up to you for sure. And your other chick looks like he's in a fashion show. And it's good. Sounds good and sounds fun. Thanks so much, Margaret. It's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to seeing your chicks, because the interesting idea here is really that we do not know the results. So it's kind of a surprise how the chicks are going to look like with only one line. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm happy you like the idea, Ursula. Thanks so much. And thanks, Linda. I'm happy that you're looking forward to the challenge as well. And Liselette, you love one-liners, so I'm really happy to read that. I'm sure that we will all enjoy the challenge together. So I will post my chick and also the picture of this warm-up chick in the Facebook group, and I would love to see your warm-up chicks as well, grumpy chicks. And I'm looking forward to it. We will start exactly in 1 week on the 1st of April together, and we will do the very first grumpy chick together. And yeah, you can draw it several times too, and together with me then. So we will do it definitely together, the very first one, and I'm looking forward to it. And thanks so much for having been here with me. See you soon.